All right, round 4. Top 2 to advance in order to earn this signed Triple Trouble. Woof. All right. Oh no! Well, folks, this may be the end. Maximus or Gokatu? I think it's going to be Gokatu. I have a little success with Maximus, but I think Gokatu is safer in terms of if I think I'm going to be playing against a weaker lobby, which, again, I'm not saying to, like, brag about my MMR or, insult the players that are in my lobby or whatever, but, like, relatively speaking to what I'm used to playing to on the ladder, these boards have been relatively weak. I haven't recognized any of the names, etc. And so I think even when you're trying to get second, you should take a little more of a conservative approach. And I think the fail rate on Maximus is much higher than Gokatu. Oh, I have Scam in here? I guess I have to get second. If I had to get first, I think I would just cut the Scam stuff and try and go big. But to get second, the Scam stuff might be good. Mysterio, Scam. I have Pisces Tinkerer also. This is an interesting list. I must not play Gokatu very much because I do not remember making this. Seems fine, right? Like, pretty standard butcher list. Mysterio eject button into either Tinkerer Dust or Scam Endgame. Oops. Many other decks built. These all precons. This looks like a built deck. This looks like more of a normal deck. Like, if I had to get first, I would play something closer to this. This looks kind of old. But, yeah. Concept-wise, it would be something like this. But I think I'm okay with running Scam to get second. Let's see if I want to replace this Mysterio. Oh, you know what I want to play is the Combustion Dragon. It's pretty good for us last game. It's good with Scam. It's good with Treasure Hoard comps. Yeah, Mysterio is fun, but perhaps not the card you want when you're trying to just be a consistent, solid player and grind out a second place. All right, let me take a snip of this again. That was a smart thing for me to do last round. And I'm especially unfamiliar with this list, so that'll be important for me to have off to the side here. All right, here we go. Puck, fine start. It's a little speculative. It's a little awkward because one of the cards you want with it is the Jack in the Box, and we're about to pass a copy. But I do think that it is better enough than Itsy Bitsy Spider that I want it anyway. It just lasts longer on the board. It does more when you're trying to, like, enter into uncommons and start doing hunt stuff. And now here I'm going to Thorn. We would have gotten Silver Itsy Bitsy Spider, but... Alright. I do... Not... Oh, Extreme X-Wing. I do recognize that name, but not from Ladder. I recognize that name from Yuckmouth's stream chat. But I do not believe that they're like a top of the ladder type player, but they probably are pretty solid if they're hanging out in Yuck's stream. You know, they at least are heavily invested in the game and probably have a brain, you know, even if their MMR isn't necessarily sky high, which it may very well be. I might be wrong about that. I'm just talking. But that is the first name that I've recognized in any of my lobbies throughout both days, so noteworthy for that alone. Beanstalk, Sweet Tooth, Frowny, Goatee, and Animal. Hopefully this Goatee player just crashes and burns. It would be nice if we could knock out this Sweet Tooth player early as well. But Beanstalk and Frowny are both very strong captains, totally solid. Animal is a little more speculative, but not like F tier by any means. After her recent changes, she's gotten much better overall, I think. Alright. We do manage to get Thorn value and a puck on board instead of a 3-3 and still not lose the fight, which was kind of the goal in our first turn there. If this was Stepmother, I might take it because I am more likely to do the quest. But Daughter, I think I would rather just take the safe card and look towards different quests, uncommon quests. Things like Peachy Queen. Which is a hero, so would have triggered the first one off the Daughter. But unless we go rattle off like Huntsman, Silver Peachy Queen over the next 2 turns, I don't plan on playing a lot of heroes. Fox is kind of the only other one. So yeah, not huge on Daughter. Unless you're doing Senbei. Alright. They also had a relatively scary turn 2 board, so I'm glad that we played defensively there. No real reason not to take second Peachy Queen. Man, we could just Ember for 3. Problem is we have, like, 2 of our 4 characters we want to replace very quickly. Jack Frost also eats up the Peachy Queen buff, though, but maybe in a more sustainable way. Like, I can keep this Jack Frost on board much longer than I want to be keeping any of these on board. But putting a 3-3 Silver Ember in the shop also is, like, pretty appealing. Yeah, I think that sort of potential for a mid-game boost is going to push me over the edge to using Ember here. But not great option either way, but yeah, I don't mind that. If I had known Rose was coming, I might not have done that. But I suppose we just play an 8-7. What fight are we on? 3? I'm facing Frowny. Huh. I'm thinking about casting Twinkle Twinkle here. Because we have another round of uncommon shops where I could hit Huntsman. Like Gentle Giant. Whoa, that was a weird bug. I don't know, getting 4/3 bigger than the Thorn, but also not being able to deal full heart as long as it's on board is actually like kind of relevant when we're trying to get second. And Twinkle Twinkle is a good amount of stats. And I feel safe. We have full health. Like, I don't think we're going to get full-hearted here, even if we lose. And I think if we go first, it's quite hard for us to lose. Even taking this chop off. Thanks to that Ember. So yeah, I think I'm going to Twinkle Twinkle here. Frowny got full-hearted, and Goat is tanking as you might expect. Candy Frowny, it looks like. And looks like a win. A lot of, like, us passing a card and then immediately seeing what would have been the silver of it. I hope the mic's not picking that up. It is very loud and annoying outside. I'm contemplating taking the Minotaur over the Giant here. Not because I think I'm going to be dealing full hearts anytime soon, but because there's an additional copy of it still in the deck. And I would like to silver more than I care about these 3 stats, I think. I could also just Presence of Gaia and carry this Twinkle pump. For one more look at Huntsman. I actually don't hate that. These options are not good. The problem with just like casting spells like Twinkle Twinkle and Presence is like you're not putting silvers in your deck. But also the upside of hitting something better with our Twinkle Twinkle is quite appealing. I don't think I can justify Jack in the Box. I think if I'm taking a character, it's Minotaur. So I'm just deciding between that and Spell. Alright. I'm just gonna play my character. No Huntsman. We can redraw to it, which I think we're gonna do, because none of these other options are particularly appealing. Ahab would be fine. But, like, it would be a stat downgrade over anything but the Shark. Show me Huntsman. Yeah, Jill's not bad. 8-5 or 7-6. Oh, Goat down to 1. Let me do life totals here. Beanstalk on 3. Sweet Tooth on 3. Frowny on 1.5. Goatee, thankfully down to 1. Hopefully they just die in the next turn. We probably aren't going to kill them, but hopefully they die on the following combat. Animal is 2.5 hearts. Right. Turn 4. Okay, quite weak. We are going to win, but we will not be full-hearting them. Oh, we do full-heart them! Oh, that's awesome. Goatee is a scary, scary captain to have to play a late game against, so very happy to eliminate them. And glad we went, like, every point mattered to full-heart them, so I'm glad that we played that the way we did. Into the rare shops we go. Still full health, but not much of a game plan yet. Like, we don't have a build, we just have some power and toughness and 3 hearts. And a hero power that'll eventually give us something, theoretically. So let's see. Achilles, it is async, so we don't have to worry about the drawback after the fight. But it would have to be in this first slot to hunt. And then what? Am I putting Shark in too, or just selling the Shark? Shark is like the unit I most want to pump with the Achilles, but it also doesn't play nice with him. The other option is like Little Red over Puck. We are into the rare turns, so kisses are on the table. I suppose we just Achilles, though. And I guess we do it over the Shark. Huh. Yeah. Like, we could also do it over the Puck and play Shark in 5. But, like, we still need Jill supporting the Achilles, because I don't think 8 is enough to feel comfortable hunting with, so that does not sound great. Let's just go with that. Now we get Fox and Rolo. Wish those were... one of those was in that first pack. Shop, whatever. Whatever the lexicon is for this game. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm on a Fox. We got... Frowny definitely has stuff to steal. Sweet Tooth probably has stuff to steal. Beanstalk, maybe. Animal, maybe not. I think Rolo is just too weak and slow. I think I am gonna Fox. And then what? Maybe Achilles goes first against Animal. And then we push Fox to the front. Sure. Does hunt. Alright, they both hunted and we got a treasure, so... we don't deal damage, but that fight went about as good as we could have hoped for. We have literally 0 shot buffs, or slot buffs. For Greenbeard. Cool, 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 cool. This is just fill every day. There's that silver I was talking about. There's also a Jack Frost. Which doesn't actually do anything. Alright, silver it is. And a gold. We'll take an uncommon treasure. Hopefully that'll give us some direction. We have a bit of direction now with Fox. But still leaves a bit to be desired. And this is terrible. So Prized Pig is like the only card we could possibly justify here. Not ideal, but we do have 3 animals. Against Beanstalk. I guess we want Achilles first again. Let me take life totals. Turn 6. Full 2. Frowny's down to a half heart. And Animal we just tied with at 3. And Goat is dead. Alright. Yeah, I suppose I want at least one Achilles buff on Phil. Alright, we do attack first, and they attack Phil. Awesome. They don't have a treasure for us to steal, which is a little surprising from Beanstalk, but not too surprising. Makes me very glad that we played Achilles in one, even though they both hunted anyway. Sunflare. Yeah? It's gonna be the one. Just straight up swap the supports. Wow, turn 7. Do we start one of these? I want all 4 of these. If I didn't just hit Sunflare, I wouldn't even consider Huntsman. But +7 and our Captain Power theoretically going off at some point. I wouldn't want to keep Achilles that long. I would replace Achilles and hope the silver comes back if we get the axe. That's so slow, though. It's so slow, and I think Miseria is too small and slow. Man. Like, I want all 4 of these, and I also want none of them. I guess Lost in the Woods is probably going to end up being my answer, because I don't know if Chameleon can hunt. We just faced Beanstalk, so we got Sweet Tooth next, and they just got their second spell. Ooh, that's a little scary. Tough shop. I don't think it's Huntsman, and I don't think it's Miseria. So Chameleon or reroll. And I think I'm just going to reroll. Jasmine is a much more appealing option. Do we give up on Achilles and let Fox play in 1? I would imagine so. Kind of a huge hunt here, because getting a bonus shot for next turn would be really nice. But it's also quite scary that this Sweet Tooth is still alive. Yeah, just keep attacking Phil. Alright, we did get the hunt. Not a great treasure to steal, but just attack Phil the maximum number of times and get full-hearted and die. That is fantastic. I mean, they also have, like, 3 terrible treasures. So, yeah, we're kind of set up for a bad combat. But very happy about that, because Sweet Tooth snowballs pretty hard once you get, you know, a spell every single turn. Yeah, and then we have a bonus shop, and we have a bunch of silvers. That's just one attack. I mean, it's gotta be Fox. significant stat upgrade, which is nice. Now, a terrible shop. Are we just banking the Navi? I think working towards the gold Navi on this captain in particular is especially strong. Because if you can proc the hero power and then gain a heart, then you can proc it again. I think that's much better. Even if it's, small percent chance to happen, is much better than just a 1-1 shot buff. Ironcast Dragon. Wouldn't bat an eye at just silvering the Thorn here if it weren't for Jasmine. It would be nice to have a way to proc it both in case Fox doesn't hunt and just to proc it on my turn instead of having to slow trip the bonus shot. What is this? 26-16. So it's a little bit of a stat loss, or I can just play it in the Phil slot, which I think we're just going to do that. Phil was fantastic that fight, but we don't have any other way to pump it or do anything cool with it. So let's just Dragon. And then Brick City. Wow. Even a targeted spell would have been nice. I have no spell buffs. I have scam stuff that wants Medusa. The problem is I don't like silvering the Medusa if I'm trying to Anubis it back. But I think I am just going to bank the Medusa. The 1-1, it's going to be heartbreaking if the 1-1 would matter for Fox to hunt. But other than that, I don't think it's... Even if it's 2-2, I don't think it's worth not just putting a Silver Medusa in our deck. Alright, so we did lose Frowny. So we need to beat one of these players. We have Animal on 2.5, and Beanstalk still on 3. Has not been touched. And it is turn 8. Alright. Nice. They only have 2 treasures, and we already have a copy of the other one, so we were guaranteed that. Map is kind of cool. We're going into turn 9 here, and we manage a tie. So we got a fortifications, a map, and a bonus shop. Pretty productive fight. Not a very productive 9.1. I can give 5-5 to the Fox. It's significantly better than All for One would have been last turn. Frankly, I think I'm going to just because there's no other options. The White Whale would... I mean, the only thing that I want to play over is the Sunflare, but this Fox is hanging on by a thread. Although, Beanstalk had no treasures last time we faced them, and Animal had 2, which we now have both of. Oh, but... yeah, the whale's barely even bigger than the Fox. Never mind. I thought that stat difference was going to be more significant. Much rather just put 5 on it. Huh. Another terrible shot. But Pisces is fine. The Sunflare is playing for at least a little longer. So, This is our second ship shape we're passing, which I only point out because even though it looks like we're infinitely far away, we have 2 buffed, and this thing's chugging along. Our hero power actually puts slot buffs on. So if we were at a lower life total, I might just play it on board, hoping to tank a hit. Or at least as, insurance. But I don't think I can do that here. It's so small. We have a reroll. It just stinks to put a second one into the trash, because I know we've already passed one when we might need it late. But let us roll. Silver Pisces is awesome. Very happy about that. Especially because the rest of the shop is not good. Conan or Abracadabra? How big are you? Smaller than the Conan? Alright, so that's 13, 14, 15. So this will be 41. Or I can Abracadabra, looking for something to target this Iron Cast with. I don't know, I think with these buffs, this fox is likely to hunt. The only question is, I mean, it has the 1 in 6 chance of getting sniped, or they could just not have anything for us to steal. But I think I'm fine. It's turn 9. It's the first legendary shop. I think I'm fine taking, letting Conan do his thing over the course of a few turns. We will see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's not... They must have more treasures, right? Because... Or no, this is their first treasure? Is it Jawsbreaker? What is happening? I don't know. I lost the fight. I was mostly trying to figure out the treasure situation. Alright, we have a Jawsbreaker. That much we know. And we did get the bonus shop. Alright. Bizarre. Conan also got 2 hits in, which is nice. Where'd that other buff go? Oh, it hit there again. It's actually good. That's the Anubis slot. Which does bring me to my play of cycling the Medusa. We are not ready for you yet. What did I just say? Huh. So, epics, there are 6 copies, I believe. Right, because there's 3 commons, 4 uncommons, 5 rares, 6 uncommon, or 6 epics. And I don't believe we've passed one. We took the first bronze we saw, and then the silver. First silver we saw. So it should still be 6. So we can pass this and there's still 5 copies. Or we can just take it over the Ironcast Dragon. Get an epic treasure. I don't know. I don't know. Again, all 4 of these seem decent. I don't think I would through the Looking Glass. I think I would just re-roll the Laser Shark. And Nessie doesn't really... I guess Nessie would play over the Ironcast as well. But is that even something I really want to do? Like, we have some economy going. We have Conan probably going to pop in like 3-ish turns. I think we can play something over Fox next turn. Because this Beanstalk is probably not doing much for it. But I do think it's quite likely that we have something, a third treasure to steal from Animal next fight. So yeah, I think I am going to pass it. Like, what are the epic treasures that we would really want to see? Because, like, we can't do much with Locket or Gift. Strawberries would not be that impressive. Pandora's Box is okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm struggling to come up with ones that really do a ton besides, like, fairy pancakes. Like, Poison Apple doesn't do anything. I guess Advent Calendar is okay with Jasmine, especially if we're getting rid of Fox. Taking Medusa when I still want to be using slot 1. And before I have Anubis. I don't know. Because, like, this thing is 13, so I really can't. And honestly, like, having the Pisces triggers makes re-rolling that much more appealing, because Tinkerer will actually just turn on, like, everything and give us a, actual game plan. So every reroll going towards Anubis or Tinkerer makes that much more appealing than just taking an epic treasure here. And I just don't have room for the Medusa. And I don't think I need it. Like, the Beanstalk had a Mockingbird in the back row, but these players have not given me an indication that I'm going to need a Medusa, that I can remember at least in my cloudy, cold-addled brain. I'm going to reroll. Another tough decision, but this one is not a tough decision because it's 3 terrible cards, so we're going to cast this spell. And although you don't want to buff the front slot too much when you're trying to do Anubis things, I would like to make sure I have hunts going a little longer if so desired. Elven Tools was not not on our shopping list either. Boy, another terrible shop. +9. I mean, I can play this on over the Ironcast Dragon and actually play a couple fairies. Or I can just cycle it, giving this +9 and any future Tinkers or whatever +9, and putting the silver epic in the deck. Yeah, I imagine Ironcast is going to have a little more utility for now. Like, if we hit Tinkerer in our, next 2 shops, then I'm really going to want this in play, because I'm going to want to just accumulate a bunch of small treasures for it to pump. Whereas playing this on board makes me want to draw, only the silver Sunflowey and silver 10 million Fireflies, and maybe, like, Sparkles. But I don't have much room on my board anyway to do fairy stuff. Like, I would have to start cutting Fox. Alright, let's just ban the Fireflies. True Love's Kiss. That, I think, is gonna have to play. Do I want a secret rare or a treasure and a legendary? I think if this Conan was 1 turn off, I would just let the treasure happen. Or if I had a potion, I would let it happen. but I'll just take the secret rare. Paul Bunyan is not really what I wanted. I guess it's okay. Here's another chance at this Medusa. I can also goodie bag. I just don't think we have time for goodie bag. It is good with our hero power. I don't have any spell buffs, right? Huh. This being 2-3 tells me we have 1-2 shop buffs, which is not enough to justify like bending this. So I think I am just going to touch the fox. Oh, the fox is so bad, though, against these opponents. But I don't have room on my board for Medusa. Like, this is the last shop of this turn, and I kind of need to cut Sunflare and Fox together. I suppose I could cut Fox for Medusa now and run it like this. Guess I don't hate that. Alright. Epic treasures are pretty good. Gloves of Thieving. It's better than Fox because it can take additional copies, but the 3 treasures, or 4 treasures now, that we know that our opponents have are all trash. So I don't think it's gloves. Apple is a good scam card. It's really good with Medusa, because Medusa attacks and kills something and then survives to be just a villain that isn't big enough to kill anything, but with Poison Apple it does make it kill a second thing, or, you know, shrink it to 1. But Golden Fountain is also just the best one. It's like very powerful, even though it doesn't have as much direction as Poison Apple, and we don't have any sort of treasure engine up and running. So I think it's Fountain or Apple. And I think I'm going to go with Fountain. I think if I didn't have this Paul Bunyan, I would want to Apple. But because we have this Paul Bunyan, I feel safe to Fountain. Alright, so Beanstalk, what turn is it? 10? Beanstalk is 3 of 4 now. Interesting. And Animal is still or back to 2.5. I'm actually going to try and screenshot their board. Just make sure my hotkeys are right on this laptop. Oh, phone alarm. Oh my god. I keep trying to type into my keyboard that is not plugged in because I have my mic plugged in. My hotkey is not working. Whatever, I'll just use a snipping tool. Or I can actually just write it down. It's probably smarter. I will for sure miss it with snipping tool. Oh, you know what I can do? What? Why didn't that work? Oh, there we go. All right. Oh, nice hit with the Medusa. Awesome, awesome, awesome combat. All right. So they... Papa Bear, Parrot, Two-Headed Dragon, Small Fairy Queen, Nessie. And now they're down to 2 hearts. And our Bunyan is slightly larger, which is also nice. Phil is cool if we're doing Wicked Witch things, which we are not yet. We got rid of the fox, so the Sunflare can go now. So do we hook in 4? Or do we just re-roll the fill? I mean, Phil could just play over the Sunflare. It's better than binning it, I suppose. Question is, do I want hook? And looking at this animal board, no. It's too small. And I think the beanstalk board is also big enough that I shouldn't be trying to do that. So let us fill. Pretty terrible shop, but this Sugar Plum Fairy is beefy. Slot 4 is the only slot we're missing for ship shape, if we want to ship shape before our hero power pops. I could also put it in the Anubis slot. Now that we have Medusa on board, and it's gold, so like we can't get rid of it and get it back later. Or just 7/7 to the shop. We have another shop this turn, but no other way to get treasure other than spiking a gold or a targeted spell for Ironcast. Alright, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it in the Anubis slot. Breadcrumbs is excellent. Actually, incredibly important pickup. The Dreamer is, you know, not a card to ignore when we're doing scam stuff, but we're obviously just re-rolling here. Leave the silver in the pool. If this is the shot that we would have gotten, it's kind of a shame, but could not have known that at the time. Do I want another treasure and some stats on the Ironcast or a silver in my deck? I think I'm going to go treasure. We have secret map going off next turn. And we have a bunch of Fey buffs for Tinkerer. So just like accumulating wands and anthems is something we want to do. And yeah, we do have a couple of actual big hits like Mimic. And then yeah, gold. Copy a gold rare plus get an extra from Fountain. This is a very nice gold to find. Interesting. So we get to copy one of these and take a second one. Midas' Throne is funny with a gold Medusa because it'll buff the slot, but then not be able to use that buff. The problem with that is, of course, we want Medusa in 1 and Phil in 3. Which means our Anubis slot will be outpaced by the Midas' Thrones. So I think I just take the other two. Not because they're necessarily better, but because we want... They're not worse by enough. I mean, I think they're all pretty similar power level. But if we have designs of Anubis, then Midas' Throne could really ruin our own game plan. Alright. We already know these health totals. Or I guess they stayed at 3 of 4. Do I want Bunyan in the front? No, I do not. Alright. And let me take some more notes here. And do a little screen capture here. And here we go. Ooh, Medusa is good against Muffet, and we hit. Alright, very, very... Ooh, we get a treasure. Potion. Nice. A free potion from a spawned whale. That fight obviously went fantastic. Let me write down their slot buffs, because that Muffet buffed slots 1 and 3, looks like. 26, 20, 9, 3, 21, 28, 4, 4, 5, 0. And then their board was, from my screen capture, Shadowmancer, Mockingbird, Laser Shark 1, Gummy Worm 2, which is a fascinating card to show up, and Miss Muffet, excuse me, in 3. All right. Rolo is just small and weak and not needed, I think. Because we have Ironcast. And I think we just want to be maximizing our rerolls because Anubis or Tinkerer is just kind of lights out. Which is why I am going to bin this mage here. Frank's Doctor is cute with Phil, but I think we just want maximum shops. Okay, so kind of a waste of the double spell, but it does give us 2 dragon shops. Well, dragon mage shops. I have to do it, though. Like, I could guarantee just dragon shops by playing them on the Jasmine Dragon, but 2 treasures plus the Jasmine proc is just way too much value. Lucky Chest is a nice one to have late game. Masterwork Scrolls, less impressive. Alright, so we did get a mage, changeling, for our first shop, but thankfully Ironcast Dragon Silver here to reroll us into not a Tinkerer. Oh, that's annoying. I got mages, I got animals because of prized pig. Very annoying. Bahamut doesn't really play. I don't really have room for it. It's kind of just meh stats. Which our breakpoints against these boards are actually fine, even though our board's not that impressive, so let us just over the rainbow. Let me set up my screen capture here. X-Wing lost another half heart to one of our boards. Oh no! Sniping. And they have a shadow in the back. We're getting full-hearted like crazy here. Oh, maybe not. If that... Okay, we do manage to only get half-hearted. So for how well those last two fights went, our fight RNG on that one was quite poor. But they kept Muffet on 3. And they have Shadow in the back now instead of Shadowmancer. And then a big Nessie in 1. Okay. Oh, oops. Forgot to stop my screen capture. Alright, so they still have the parrot in the back awkwardly. But it looks like they're kind of stuck on a Papa Bear build. So hopefully we can outrun that. There's our black hole. I'm gonna take it. Or am I? Taking it before Anubis, and it's also like we don't know if we're gonna get Wicked Witch first. But Wicked Witch would be kind of awkward on this board anyway, because Medusa in 4 is awkward with Phil in 3. And Black Hole would have to play over one of these pieces if I was looking towards getting Scam up and going. Which Bunyan, I think, is still serviceable the way that these fights are going. And losing Ironcast or Jasmine is kind of giving up a lot when we have so much potential. Like each shop has so much potential to be game winning. Yeah, I'm actually going to pass the black hole. As crazy as that seems. That is a large Nessie. Why is that Nessie so large? Oh, it's because the rainbow, duh. No, it's still, it's a 50-50 base, right? And then I have like 5, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I don't know. It's still a little bigger than I would expect it to be. But anyway, Chameleon cannot hunt. I do not really want to use... Oh, we got a Tiamat's Claw? From our map last turn? I didn't even notice that. Even more reason to keep these dragons around. Maybe since we're doing Medusa instead of Wicked Witch, we can get rid of Phil. Is that crazy? The other option is just get an uncommon treasure. Like, it's a waste of the lucky chest. I say waste with, you know, air quotes. Problem is, I don't know if I want, like, dust. I don't want heart yet. Interesting endgame. I think this Nessie is going to be just too small to fight Animal, but it's going to be big enough to fight the Beanstalk opponent? Maybe that's not even true. I don't know. I think this Phil is run its course either way. We brick on the ability to get a treasure this turn, but two things will die. Proc the Tiamat's Claw and proc the Jasmine to give us our bonus shot for next turn. The problem with this is, like, Medusa doesn't care and Bunyan doesn't really care. But this hook is also just not hunting. It will if we get Wicked Witch. It's such a powerful card. I think I am going to play it. Alright. 2.5. Let me set up my capture so I can save their board. I just do not have the brain power in my weakened state to track their whole board. Okay. Bang. Dragon went off and gave us Punch Card, which is a great treasure to steal. And we full heart them. I think they were on a half heart anyway, but wow, great fight. Wish that this thing died and gave something +10, but great fight. Let me see. So they still only have real buffs in 1 and 3. They moved Muffet to 1 and Shadow to 3. Interesting. They have this Gummy Worm, but like it's not really doing anything. And they got Tinkerer. They have Tinkerer Merlin in the back. So they're scaling or trying to put something scaly together. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I do feel some sense of urgency to get going. None of these do anything. So let's roll and work on our spellbook. Excuse me. None of these do anything. So I think we're just going to finish the punch card. Yeah. Improve the next buff from the next Fae. And it triggers this. It's a waste of the lucky chest, but I do get 2 uncommons. And like, I'm kind of on a Tinkerer hunt here, and so even though the extra shop would be good, getting +9 on that Tinkerer would also just slam the door. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Not great. Tiger's paw. Like, the Medusa always hunts when it attacks. But if I'm just keeping Medusa in 1, then it doesn't matter that it's buffing slot 1. But Paul Bunyan doesn't really care about +2/+2 either. So I think I'm taking Bow, even though it doesn't do that much. Because it buffs the hook. And if we just get, like, bounty contract off of our random common treasures, then maybe it can buff this slot 3 also. And then, yeah, I really don't think I'm going to be playing any other heroes, so I guess we... The other problem with Tiger's Paw is if this slot gets too big and then I try and Wicked Witch out of it, then I also cut myself off of Anubis stuff. I mean, this is just a terrible treasure shop. And a big waste of our lucky chest, unfortunately. So it's just a matter of what we think could matter the most. And I guess if we get, like, World Shrub, High Tops might do something. But Tiger's Paw almost never does anything, because, like, I have Hook, so Hook loves to live in 4 on scam boards. And Medusa can only live in 1 or 4, really. So yeah, I guess I'm going to take High Tops just in case, but I don't think it or Paw does anything, really. Through the Looking Glass is cute on a big Nessie, but we are just going to keep rolling kind of whenever they give us a chance, because we have so many, like, strong hits. Speaking of strong hits, I am going to take the gold Jasmine. Card is just absolutely busted. I get 2 epic treasures. I did not note any changes on the treasure front. Advent Calendar is dope because I just don't have to worry about this anymore, which was a concern once we got rid of the Ironcast Dragon. Making sure that we could proc the Jasmine was, like, we didn't have a consistent way to do that, and Advent Calendar just does that for the rest of the game. And then, yeah, a Legendary Treasure is probably better than Gloves here. Maybe not, because this Beanstalk player is doing Tinkerer things. So maybe they are looking for dust and acquiring other treasures in the process. 1 legendary or gloves. We have Tiamat's Claw going also. I'm going to take the gloves. You could also take box and gloves. The Advent Calendar, or the gloves, also triggers the Jasmine Dragon every turn, but it does so with the delay, right? And only if we win that fight. So yeah, no, I definitely want Advent. And then I think gloves. But that's not an easy choice. Do I want to silver? I guess I could play Bahamut here. It's very slightly bigger, but will grow with treasures. If, like, Nessie's a better kiss target, but It's not like a huge difference necessarily. Because my other thought is just Stroke of Midnight and try and kill one of these players. But I think they're at too high of life totals. Let's just take the card. Here's a 3/3 double-double, which we can put on our Anubis spot. Or continue rolling. And I think we just keep rolling. Because, like, if we find Tinkerer, then we're going to not want to have wasted time buffing this 5 slot. If we find Anubis, then we can start working the buffs in. Wicked Witch, or another reroll. So Hook is great with Witch. Medusa plays better with like these fatties. And like I said, there's tension because Hook can kind of only live here. I guess if I Wicked Witch in 1, I can Hook in 2. And then Medusa in 4. Man, this is a long and fascinating game. I hope that people are enjoying this if I end up posting it. And aren't just bored at how slowly I'm playing, going over every option in excruciating detail. Reroll or Witch? Which would play over Bahamut, Witch in 1, Hook to 2, Medusa to 4. Man, oh man. Alright, I'm gonna do it. We shall see. Both other players on 2 hearts. We have 3 and still our hero power to proc. Let me get my capture here. Okay, so they do attack first, but don't snipe the witch. They also have more valuable treasures to steal now, so I'm glad I have the gloves. Energizer's a great pickup. And we lose half a heart. But we get Energizer from Claw and then Fairy Pancakes. And yeah, barely lose to the shadow spawning Nessie. Let me rewatch that fight real quick. Big Ann Bunny in 1, Big Friar Tuck in 2, Big Nessie in 3, Papa Bear and Shadow in the back. Hook goes down, Witch shoots middle. And then Nessie snipes Medusa, unfortunately. That was probably the whole fight. Was that 50-50? Alright. Acorn, not ideal, but does give us a bunch of shops with our Jasmine Dragon, which was the point of the Advent Calendar anyway. How many things do I have that Energizer pumps? We got some, like, weird narrow stuff, but we have 4 actual anthems. It's not bad. Anyway, we are obviously just rolling here. Not too much to consider here, so let's just play our spell for punch card. Silver Navi for value. Don't mind if I do. There's Anubis. And it is slightly larger than the Wicked Witch right now. But much smaller than the Hook. I think it is still worth it. I could reroll with Eureka or take Ironcast. But I think once we took Wicked Witch, we were kind of putting ourselves in a position that we were going to play Anubis over Bunyan at some point. No real interest in any of this stuff, so I guess we just pump the Anubis. And again. And again. All right. Not much going on that turn outside of the Anubis, but the idea is that the Anubis is going to be pretty dang significant. If I put Hook in 4, it actually is small enough to get resummoned by Anubis. Is there any way I could play it like this? If Wicked Witch gets an attack off, then the Medusa, even on defense, is a lethal, like we'll trade with something. Let's try it. If they snipe the witch, then the Medusa gets to attack. Which is obviously great, so yeah, alright. Stroke of Midnight? Combat spell. 2 Stroke of Midnights? Please with the combat spells. Oh my god. Is there any way we can salvage half a heart here? Oh my absolute god. What a disaster. We get a second Energizer. This one's sweet. Why is it 3-3? Or is it naturally 3-3 plus sweet? Weird. Got a lot of Energizers going on. Alchemistry set is a little awkward. And Drafty Window is good potentially? Double Stroke. Well, let's just hope nobody does that again. Nothing of interest here. True Love's Kiss. No, thank you. Do we play like Mousetrap over Hook in 3? I'm gonna look at that board again. Oh, I forgot to check their Tinkerer. But it doesn't look... By the size of their board, it doesn't look like they have dust or anything. Hook. It's not doing a ton. It's like kind of cute against Muffet or Shadow, which is their back row. But even the Muffet's going to be too big to hunt by the time we see that board again. So yeah, I am just going to Mousetrap here. Let us look for Celestial. Kind of want all three of these, but it's got to be Anubis, right? This is the second black hole we've passed, but we just got Mousetrap. And the Mousetrap's actually, like, almost big enough to fight things on offense. Or survive hits. Yeah. Not the best. Options here, but Trevina is not the one we want either. But we do get a double-double, which is +8 and then double. Yep. Don't have any like Loki Scepter stuff or anything like that, do I? Nope. There's Combustible. Advent Calendar is going to rare next. So I think the Jasmine wants to stay for a couple more turns. If I can help it. It's not like I have Locket or anything for the dragon. Obviously not interested in kissing anything, so I am just going to bank it. Because we have a chemistry set, and the gold dragon will be awesome. Alright, so we got 2 health and 2.5 health. No other way to set up this board. Alright, let me get my capture. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. That should be the whole fight. Unless they have some insane treasure that we can't see. Second gemstone garden. Interesting. Sorry, just taking notes and whatnot. Nothing. Yeah, their board, I think, is just identical. Like, their game might be over. There's Tinkerer. Which I don't have Dust, but I do have 2 Energizers. And I don't know if I need this Mousetrap anymore. So let's just do that. Nothing really of interest here. We're gonna play a spell because of the punch card. Otherwise, I would just turn something silver, I think. But I will go ahead and greet Anubis. Gold Navi with nothing else in the pack. Ideally, you lose this second heart and then find the gold Navi. But let's see. I don't remember if I passed one like very early game. I might have forgotten. But we took the silver as soon as we could. So assuming we took the first bronze we saw, there are 4 uncommons. So there's still 4, still 4, and now 3 if we pass this Navi. So there's still 3 gold Navis in the deck. Or 2 if there was one I'm missing. Huh. The thing is, like, just having an extra heart when your scam is so good, because the fight RNG, like getting another try at it, that passing this Navi and then not getting it back would be an absolute travesty. Plus, it gives me uncommon treasures for Tinkerer to draw dust or the other heart. So I am gonna take it. But it was worth thinking about, I think. Yeah. I don't really want to take this because I don't want this getting too big. I guess this makes it bigger faster. So I will take it. No. What am I hitting off of this? I guess the gold Tinkerer? Wow, there's the gold combustible. And I think I play it. I mean, I think it plays on board like happily even without the treasures that like make it incredible. It's a dragon for the Tiamat's Claw. The Tiamat's Claw can get us one of those treasures at any point. Seems pretty strong. I guess we just don't need this Jasmine anymore. The game's not gonna go that much longer. How many advent calendar triggers do we have left? We also have Alchemistry set. If we want to keep the Jasmine around, like we can extend the Jasmine's utility well after this is done. But it also has 2 procs on it left anyway. There's a couple of things on the opponent's boards that make me want to keep this Medusa around. It's a bit of a safety blanket that I probably don't need. But then again, so is this combustible. Yeah, I'm going to play it over Jasmine. I think our board doesn't get much better. Like, our shops are not going to be that impactful because we can't do much better than what we have. Like, finding dust is kind of the only thing left on the bucket list. This is fine because it pumps everything. Co-captain can find Hades, which would be dope. This doesn't have... I don't have Dracula's fangs, do I? Or anything else that gives things farewells? Doesn't look like it. I could get Hades. I could get... What else could I even get? Mira? Something like Trash Panda? I also don't really want a bunch of random epic treasures, nor do I see myself collecting a lot of common treasures. So yeah, I guess I might as well go captain. This is pretty sick if I'm like doubling this slot. Or Eureka-ing. Or I can just take an epic treasure. But the only epic treasure I really care about is like Apple. Or I guess Locket. Yeah. Let's take a treasure. Kind of none of the above. Do not want the hat. That's cool. I didn't know if we were gonna get 2 treasures from Fountain for this ability. I don't think I've ever had that come up, but you do in fact get 2. All right, they're both on 1 heart. We just need to kill one of them. Okay, so Tinkerer is 1/1. So their scaling is from Candy, which we can beat easily. Our only fear was that they would get like Tinkerer Dust going and then cast some combat spells. But even then, like our 3rd heart is, gonna keep us safe. Okay, the other person also died to our board. So there we go, win. Really, really long and complicated game. Kind of an interesting pivot into Scam with the Medusa kind of forcing itself on us and then picking up like Hook kind of in the meantime and then finding Witch. I don't know, it was a very abnormal transition. We were also playing without a hero power, without a captain power that game, which made navigating it a little more difficult, but we got there. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. You must truly be a dedicated nerd. On to the finals.